Well, it sounds like a movie plot. A congressional aide is arrested at the airport by federal authorities, and then eventually he is charged with bank fraud. But this isn't the first time Imran Awan caught the eye of law enforcement. He was reportedly banned from the House server network in the U.S. Congress after becoming a suspect in a criminal investigation into theft and IT abuses. But despite all this, he remained a staffer for Debbie Wasserman Schultz until his arrest. Luke Rosiak is an investigative reporter for the Daily Caller, been digging into this story for months now, joins us live from Washington, D.C. Were you surprised that this guy got stopped on a plane bound out of the country and charged with bank fraud, Luke?
I wasn't surprised. On Sunday night, I published a story for the Daily Caller News Foundation saying that the FBI was closing in on this guy and they had confiscated some hard drives from his house. The very next day, he tried to board a plane to Pakistan, and the FBI, as I had reported, was surveilling his house, and they closed in on him, and they arrested him. They weren't expecting him to flee, so they had to get some placeholder charges, including bankruptcy fraud, together to basically detain him, take his passport, and put a GPS monitor on him.
All right, very good. In reading your reportage on this, it's very clear that this guy allegedly did a lot of shady stuff, but it was the access to very powerful Democrats that has a lot of people worried.
Yeah, as the IT guy, he was the one who set up email accounts for members of Congress, for dozens of them, so he could read any email sent and received by all these members of Congress. Several dozen, including members of very sensitive committees, and he could get any files that were on their hard drives.
Right. Explain this to me. The DNC refused the attempts by the FBI to get at their email server as it had been hacked. Is this somehow connected to that?
No, but there are parallels in that Capitol Police have been investigating this breach since February. They found a laptop that was hidden in an abandoned office building in the house, and they seized it for evidence purposes against Imran Awan. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz, in a very bizarre exchange, threatened the Capitol Police and said, "That's my laptop, and you're not allowed to see it. You have to give it back."
Why wouldn't she want? Why wouldn't she want to turn the laptop over?
Yeah, that's what we don't know. You would think that, you know, it could happen to anyone that you hire a guy who turns out to be a bad guy. But if that happens, you want to make sure that they can have the evidence to prosecute him, especially if, you know, you're someone in her position where you've been burned before by these cyber issues.
Okay. Luke, his attorneys have put out this particular statement regarding your reporting and others, and it says, the attacks on Mr. Awan and his family began as part of a frenzy of anti-Muslim bigotry. For months we have had utterly unsupported, outlandish, and slanderous statements targeting Mr. Awan coming not just from the ultra-right-wing Pizzagate media, but from sitting members of Congress, because we are confident in the integrity of the U.S. justice system. We are confident that Mr. Awan will soon be able to clear his name and get on with his life. What do you make of that?
Let me tell you, the only people who are defending these guys are members of Congress and their own lawyers. Their own father changed his last name to avoid being associated with these guys because of their fraudulent behavior. Their stepmom filed court paperwork in Fairfax County, Virginia, saying that they were wiretapping her and extorting her. She says they were using her to get at money that was hidden overseas in Pakistan.
Right.
And then those have been public documents for a while now. And then what this FBI affidavit filed on Tuesday confirms is, sure enough, they were sending money to Pakistan.
Interesting. As people start to connect the dots, just out of curiosity, who is his lawyer?
His lawyer is this guy, Chris Gowan, who is a longtime personal aide to Bill and Hillary Clinton. So, you know, normally you would think that the IT guys on the Hill, they want to say he's a nobody, he just plugs into keyboards. But Wasserman Schultz has refused to fire him. This has been going on since February, that he's been a known criminal suspect in a cybersecurity probe. She hasn't fired him, and now he's got this Clinton lawyer. So Politico has reported that he's personal friends with Wasserman Schultz. So it's not the typical relationship between members of Congress and the IT guy.
Well, they're looking into it. Let's see. Let's hope they get to the bottom of it. Luke Rosiak, we thank you very much for joining us today. All right.